But I like how you said pick up the thing and then do your club to that.
Right. Well, what it is you're just looking at a pre-swing. All right, something that you're going to do to help you line up the golf ball when you're making your shot. Because just like Susie, you're having the same issue of the stroke's not necessarily a bad stroke. You're making a very good stroke to the ball. Just the line that you're picking is not the right line.
Right.
So
and that's my big problem.
Right. So the in-swing is what we're looking to change, and how we set up and line up to the ball. So take a step a little further back here, and that way you can draw a straight line down to just in front of the golf ball, and then whenever you come up to set up to the club, to the ball, just set up on the side of it right there and set the club up to where you can draw a straight line through the ball, the club, and that piece of roughed up grass that you pick up.
Oh, Susie, I'm too up on you, honey.
Good. And you see how taking that little bit of time to set that up, you see how that affects your in-swing? Because now you're more prepared to make a better shot, and then you're not pulling the ball left or right going, man, I made a good stroke there, why didn't that go to the hole? Just because you weren't lined up to it. All right, so let's talk about that. All right, what was the outcome there, Linda?
I missed the hole.
Okay, so you missed the hole, but the stroke you made was a good stroke, right? Good speed.
Yeah.
But let's talk about pre-swing. Did you pick a line?
Yes.
And where was the line?
Well, I always try and pick something halfway in between.
Right.
So I had this little there.
Okay. So let's talk about this. Let's try to pick a spot that's a little bit closer to the golf ball. And the reason I say that is because then that way that line's a little more precise. Because see, your line you're picking is a little too far out, and you're not exactly lined up to it, because obviously we know the ball is going to break from left to right, right? Yeah. But we had actually, you look like you were lined up straight to the hole. Does that make sense? So your pre-swing was affecting your in-swing because of the fact that your line that you picked wasn't correct. Your spot's way too far out. Does that make sense? And see, that was better.
My spot was there, yeah.
That was better line, but see how hard you hit it. Hit it a little, just a little bit too hard. So think about your pre-swing. We want to make sure that we're to fix that. What I want you to do is actually look at what's a pre-shot routine. So instead of you hitting golf balls from here, what I want you to do is stand back here, line up the shot where you're wanting to hit, the direction, and when you're standing behind it, what I want you to do is I want you to stand back here, and so like for example, let's go to this flag, and what we want to do is we want to draw a straight line down like I'm doing right here, and I want you to look at something just in front of your golf ball, all right, and then line that club face up to the ball, up to that point. So then that way when you take your stance should be pretty square to the target. Does that make sense? So then when you're making your stroke will be more on line.
More on line.
See how that one's straight, right where you want it? So now let's try this flag over here in the middle. So step back here, come back here.
Come back here.
Yeah, okay. And this is just an extra step, but come back here and stand behind the ball on the flag, and then kind of draw your line down to just in front of the ball. So then that way, whenever you set up, you have something you can aim at that's just in front of you. So what we're doing here is we're giving you a little bit of a pre-shot routine, a pre-swing, something to think about, and you'll see that the effect that it changes is that your in-swing is much more accurate, because the stroke you're making is really good. It's just where we're lining up, we're not lining up correctly.
Correctly, right, yep.
Now even though you came up on it, notice it was only a foot from hitting the flagstick.
Right.
So that you see how that little correction really helped with that. So what we want to really make sure we focus on is that pre-swing, because that pre-swing will affect the in-swing.
The in-swing. Okay.
Right?
Right, yeah.
Other than that, it looks good.